Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's HIGHMMA, and today we are here to discuss the events of last night, UFC 308. My boy, Ilia Topuria, coming home with the fucking win. What did I tell you, motherfuckers? I told you Max Holloway was getting finished. You didn't want to hear it. You were telling me that Max was going to finish Ilia. What now, motherfuckers? And you think you're getting off with that? Nah, because Khamzat finished Whittaker too, bitch. Yeah, we're getting into it all today. So strap in, get a snack, because we're rolling through the whole card and talking about everything that happened, beginning with the main event. Bro, Ilia Topuria doing exactly what I said he would. He mixed up the grappling perfect in the first round. The leg kicks were crispy. The boxing was precise. You know, I feel like people had the wrong idea. I feel like people thought that Max was doing a lot better than he was, purely just because of the volume. I said this in the lead up. I said that people would, their, viewpoint of the fight would be misconstrued by all the volume of Max Holloway. But the reality is that those shots weren't doing nearly as much damage as Ilia's. And that was proven in the third round when Ilia knocked him the fuck out, man. Come on. I'm so happy, man. Bro, I've been saying this for months. Everyone's been ridiculing me for my takes. Well, how about it now, bitch? Nah, but let me calm down a bit. I'm actually going to break down the fight. So, in the first round, Ilia clearly won. He mixed up the grappling well. I feel like a lot of it was just him finding his range. We saw Holloway using a lot of front kicks, as I said he would. You know me, best predictor on MMA YouTube. I broke this fight down perfectly. So, I said that Holloway would be relying on the kicks more, the range. He doesn't want to let Ilia get in too close because of the crispy boxing. And I feel like Ilia was just finding the ways in which that he can get in the guard of Holloway and start unloading some heavy combos. But I feel like the grappling was to throw Holloway off a bit, because if you noticed, after the takedown in the first round, Holloway's hands immediately went a little bit lower, and almost instantaneously, Ilia's hands just started finding his chin way more because his defense wasn't as precise. Holloway started to take a lot more shots to the chin after his hands went lower because the threat of the takedown was there. It was really good mind games by Topuria in round one. Then rolling into round two, we saw Holloway getting a little bit more success. Well, I personally wouldn't call it more success. I would just say he won the round based on activity. He was throwing more shots, way more volume. The kicks were working a little bit. But in that round, Topuria was more just finding his distance, finding the openings. And then in round three, we saw what fucking happened, man. Holloway just getting put out like it's no one's business. Topuria finding that fucking win like I told you all was gonna fucking happen. The left hand as well. Think about this, people. That was a left hand KO. He knocked out Volk with the right hand. How much power does this guy have? You all said the only reason Volk got knocked out was because of the short notice fight. Or it was a quick turnaround. Whatever. Say what now? Holloway was ready, bro. I don't care. He barely took damage in the Gaethje fight, bro. He got fucked up, bro. I don't care, man. Topuria is looking fucking sick. I told you all he'd finish Holloway. You all fucking doubted me. You all doubted Ilia. Fuck you all, man. Let's fucking go. I'm so happy, but I'm also so tired. But listen, it was an amazing fight, and all props to fucking Holloway. All props to Topuria. What happens next? Everyone's been saying that the Topuria fucking Volkanovski fight is next. Me personally, I think the next fight should be Lopez versus Topuria. I feel like out of everyone in the division that's up there in the top 5, whatever, Lopez has done the most in terms of earning the title shot. I feel like that win over Ortega just kind of solidified it. So let's see Topuria and Lopez throw down. Lopez is probably going to get just knocked the fuck out, but it will be an entertaining knockout either way. I think that's the fight we should see next. But if Ilia has to knock out Volk again before that happens, then I guess it doesn't really matter. Maybe they're the 2 fights that he takes next year. Maybe he'll take 3 fights if we're lucky. We don't know yet, man. But listen, I'm not going to keep talking about this fight because honestly, I could sit and talk about it all day. Let's keep moving through the card because the next fight we are talking about is Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. Yet another fight I predicted perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Just predicting all these fucking fights right, man. We had Robert Whittaker getting absolutely destroyed by Khamzat. Like I said, in the first round, this motherfucker threw about 2 strikes before he got put on the floor and fucking choked out. Well, no, he didn't even get choked out. He got shattered. I told you that he had a glass chin. fucking Khamzat shattered that shit, man. Have you seen the picture of Whittaker's mouth, bro? Yo, the inner Whittaker fan in me is just crying right now, man. Like, bro, he took some devastating damage, possibly career-changing damage. We don't even know yet. Absolutely insane finish from Khamzat. There's not even much analysis that even really needs to be done here. Khamzat just went in there and just demolished him. It was insane. Amazing work from Khamzat. Just absolutely ragdolled Robert Whittaker. Like I said he would, though. I think everyone knew this was going to happen. And if you were picking Whittaker, you were just trying to be different. Just accept it. I know that at least one of you is sat watching this video right now, and I know deep down you're thinking to yourself, the only reason I really picked Whittaker is because I'm a fan and I wanted to support him, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, here at HIGHMMA, we only getting the picks right, bro. Khamzat with the first round fucking finish, shattered Whittaker's chin. Where do we go from here? I think there's only one guy that Khamzat should be fighting next. I don't want to see him going fighting for the belt immediately because we got Strickland and fucking Duplessis that are probably going to throw down. Let's see. Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev. Adesanya barely took any damage at 306, bro. I'm just going to keep it real. And I don't think Khamzat really took much damage there, bro. I mean, that shit was a first round finish. They're both at the top of the division. They're both the biggest names in the division. It would be a crazy, crazy pay-per-view. You could absolutely stack that shit in Abu Dhabi, somewhere like that. Next year, summertime. That sounds fucking perfect, man. Nice early card for us UK fans. That sounds beautiful. So that's what I'm saying should happen next. And honestly, I think that'd make for a pretty good fight. I'm not sure how that'd go. We've seen that Khamzat doesn't necessarily always get these first round demolitions. You know, that Burns fight was a war. The Usman fight was somewhat of a grappling war. This could be a stand-up war with Adesanya for all we know, even though I think that Khamzat would just smash him. We'll see, man. We'll see. I think this fight should happen. I don't necessarily think we should throw Khamzat straight into the title shot, if I'm honest. But if they do, I'm not necessarily going to complain. I just think it's kind of like another Diego Lopez situation. You know what I mean? I was talking about that a couple videos ago. But listen, man, I'm just super happy with the card. Also, big respect to Robert Whittaker, you know. He went in there as someone that, like, he was getting a lot of support. You know, a lot of fans were just completely comfortable with thinking that Whittaker was going to drag Khamzat into deep waters, and it just didn't happen. So big respect to Whittaker for actually going in there and trying to fight. But it didn't go too fucking well for him, did it? If we're being real. But listen, I don't really think there's too much more I can say about this fight. So we're going to keep moving through the card. The next fight we are talking about is Ankalaev versus Rakic. Now, this was just a snooze fest. I've seen a couple motherfuckers talking about this fight as if it was entertaining. Stop lying to yourself, bro. This shit was boring as fuck, man. We saw Ankalaev with some decent hands, you know what I mean? He was showing that right hand, had some, a little bit of power to it. We saw Rakic trying to do his thing with the leg kicks and shit. Just boring as fuck, man. I'm just keeping it real for you all. I'm not really sure what to take away from this fight other than, you know, Ankalaev controlled it on the feet. There wasn't really much grappling. Ankalaev probably trying to make a point of his whole I can stand with Alex Pereira thing, which, me personally, I don't think he can stand with Alex Pereira. But if they fight, I think there's probably a high chance he'll win just because of the grappling factor. But, you know, Pereira just has that insane power. And, you know, I'm not even talking about the fight. We've already started talking about Pereira versus Ankalaev. I think, you know, I think we all know what we need to do here. Pereira versus Ankalaev. It makes the most sense for the division. You know, Ankalaev is the #1 contender. There's no one else for him to fight, really. Like, what are you going to make him do? Go and fight fucking Jamal Hill? Yuri? Like, why? You know, just give him the fucking title shot. It's been long enough. We don't want another Bilal Muhammad situation in light heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we can't have that happening. And Rakic, what's next for Rakic? Bro, Bogdan Guskov or something after he beats up Johnny Walker. Or Ozdemir. I don't fucking know. Something like that, though. Yeah, like I said, not really much to take away from this fight. Rakic, he looks alright. He just looks like a regular contender. And Ankalaev looks like, you know, if he's not going to beat Pereira, he'll be up there in the top 5. Nothing more to take away. Let's carry on with the day. Let's move on to the next fight on the card, because we are talking about Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. Now, this was one of the more impressive fights of the card for me. An absolute war, but a technical war. We saw Lerone Murphy with some of the best IQ I've seen in a minute, I should say. we saw Dan Ige knock him down in the first round, and it was like, oh shit, because most people were picking Lerone. I saw quite a few people actually pick Dan Ige, and I don't blame you for doing so. I actually thought he had a really, really big chance going into this fight as well. But we saw Lerone, he recovered well, and then going into the second round, he slowed it down, he mixed in some grappling, he made his shots a little bit more precise, and let me just say, his shot selection is amazing. He comes with some lead elbows, spinning back kicks, wheel kick. Oh, bro, he has it all. A really technical fighter. I've always said, this is this is Leon Edwards at featherweight, and I think he's on his way up. He called out Josh Emmett after the fight, but I don't really think that's the best move next. I'm not really sure who to match him up against. I just think Josh Emmett, he's a bit too high up in the rankings for him right now. Give him another prospect, I say. Even though the UFC doesn't really tend to do prospect versus prospect, the thing is, in my mind, is Lerone Murphy is 33 years of age, so he's not exactly the youngest, do you know what I'm saying? And in this fight with Dan Ige, who most people consider like, a kind of old contender, they're the same age. And Dan Ige was hanging in there until the end. Like I said, it was a technical war in which Dan Ige didn't do too terrible, and he took a round off of Lerone. So it's not like we can just sit here and that's like Lerone dominated the fight. So let's not just be giving him a Josh Emmett as if he's just knocked out Dan Ige. Let's make him work his way up. If I was to make like an early choice, probably a Bryce Mitchell. He's coming off a pretty bad loss. Or maybe even the loser of Evlo Evan Sterling if you want to throw him up like to something a little bit bigger. But that's all I really got to say for him. I mean, I don't really think he took the most amount of damage in that fight. He might want to take a little bit of time. He's probably concussed from that fucking knockdown. But I don't want to see this guy returning in a fucking year, is my point. But let's keep moving through the card. The next fight we're talking about is Shara Magomedov absolutely fucking murdered Armen Petrosyan. Double spinning back fist finish. When have you ever fucking seen that? Bro, this is the reason why I talk about this guy so much on my channel. This is why I tell everyone that I speak to about him. Even my fucking mum knows about this guy now, bro. He is insane. His striking ability is unmatched. Honestly, for technical ability, he is one of the best in the UFC. That was one of the most perfect knockouts I've ever seen. I know I've just said it, but I have to say it again. His technique is unmatched. Armen Petrosyan was a sitting duck walking into that spinning back fist. Now, don't get me wrong, Armen wasn't doing terrible in the fight. I felt like Shara was controlling, but Armen wasn't doing too bad, and we knew he wasn't going to do too bad because he is the biggest challenge that Shara has come up against so far. But I just feel like Shara was countering really well in this fight. It seemed like Armen was doing a lot, but actually it was more Shara getting the damage in. And I felt like that's just how the knockout ended up happening. You've got Armen trudging forward, trying to bring the fight to Shara, who's used to being on the back foot, and he's used to just, finding the shots. He's not really one of those guys that usually uses his hands more than he uses his kicks, but I noticed in this fight he was using his hands a little bit more to find counter shots, and I really, really like seeing that coming from him because he is a growing prospect in the UFC, and to see him adapting and expanding his game is really, really good because it shows that he's still learning, he's still a student of the game, and that also makes me think, hopefully, in the background, he's been improving on something that we didn't see almost at all in this fight, the grappling, which has been a hole in not Armen Petrosyan's game, in Shara Bullet's game, but we didn't have to worry about that in this fight because I can't even remember now if it was the second or third round, but he fucking double spinning back fist KO'd Armen Petrosyan. Absolutely amazing. And I think there's only one fight that you fucking make next, and that fight is Paulo Costa versus Shara Magomedov. I want to see that fight. I really think it's a winnable fight for Shara Bullet. I know it's a kind of crazy fight to throw out there, but I don't give a fuck, man. He just got a double spinning back fist KO. You got to give him something big. You've got Paulo Costa, who is just a bum in the middleweight division now, if I'm being real. Bro, set up that fight. If Paulo Costa can win, well done. You just beat one of the best rising contenders. If not, if Shara Bullet beats Paulo Costa as well as all of these wins, he just is, he's insane, man. I don't even know what else to tell you, bro. He's just so fucking good. He's too good, striking wise. Bro, if he doesn't do well in the UFC from this point onwards and his grappling is just way too bad to be hanging in there, send this motherfucker to Karate Combat or Rising. I guarantee they'd love him. If you've seen the video of Shara Bullet having a street fight and he stamps on the guy's face, he did that with some technique. Send this cunt to Rising, bro. I swear he's sick. But that's all I really have to say about him. I am going to try and wrap up the video. I've just realized how long it has been going on. But yeah, Shara Bullet is just so fucking good, and I'm glad I picked this guy because he just, it was amazing. It was an amazing win. Hats off to him. There isn't too much more to talk about now, though, so let's move on to the final fight we are going to discuss today. It is Myktybek Orolbai versus Rebecki. I can't remember his first name. Mateusz Rebecki. My bad. But listen, this was a war. This was one of the bloodiest fights I've ever seen. Honestly, in terms of damage, I think it outdoes Lawler versus McDonald too. I think that's a way overrated fight compared to this and compared to some, but let's not get into that right now. This was an amazing fight. I am super impressed with Rebecki. I picked against him going into this fight. I thought he was too small for the division. Proved me wrong. He got past the reach of Orolbai that I thought was going to be a problem for him, and don't get me wrong, in moments it was, but in the striking department, Rebecki was ahead of our boy Orolbai, man. He was piecing him up with the boxing. Really heavy hands. Absolutely ballooned fucking Orolbai's eye. He couldn't see out of that shit after the first round, but still kept going. And honestly, I think Orolbai took the first two. Or, you know what? I actually think it was 2-1 to Rebecki, honestly. Because you've got to think about the damage that he caused. And don't get me wrong, Rebecki took a lot of damage too. But, bro, that third round when he knocked down Orolbai and he just stayed up, or it might have been the second, I'm not sure, but you know, he knocked him down, and bro, the ref could have stopped the fight. Orolbai took so many shots and just tanked them and stayed up. He will have taken so much damage in this fight. It is going to be a while until we see this guy again. I'm telling you, maybe a year layoff at the least. I think he should take a long time to recover, because orbital bone destroyed, so much damage. Same goes for Rebecki though. He took a lot of damage in this fight. An absolute war with Rebecki taking the decision. I didn't disagree with it, but I've seen a few people online saying that Orolbai should have won. But, you know, I think this is just a casual take for people that actually like Orolbai. Just because, you know, you look at the damage that was caused and the fact that Rebecki knocked him down in the third round and landed so many unanswered shots. You can't say that that was Orolbai's fight. I'm sorry, I just disagree. And you know what? That's all I really have to say about this fight, man. Who do they fight next? Give Rebecki Bobby Green and give motherfucking Orolbai, like, I don't know anyone, man. But listen, there's a couple more things I want to mention just before I close out on this video, boys. The Dos Anjos and fucking Jeff Neal fight went kind of anticlimactic. Jeff Neal was going about the fight exactly how I said he was, absolutely piecing up Dos Anjos with the boxing, causing some heavy damage, and then eventually he knocked Dos Anjos down, but the knockdown also caused him to fuck up his knee. I think he tore an ACL or something like that, so that's probably going to be the last time we ever see Dos Anjos in the octagon. He's 40 years of age, just took a serious knee injury. It would be stupid to put him back in there, and if they do, I don't know why the fuck they're doing that, man, because you're just sending a lamb out to the slaughter. But you know what? I can't be arsed going through the prelims and early prelims. I'm going to be real with you all. I'm just going to make this video and talk about the main card. But if you want to hear my takes and everything on the prelims and early prelims, let me know and we'll make an official fights to make video after 308. It is just I have had the busiest last couple of days, boys. I can't be arsed fucking finished. I can't be arsed talking about motherfucking Nzechukwu versus Barnett, where we all knew Barnett was just going to flap out anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I would like to thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone who sticks to the end of my videos. I really also want to thank everyone for 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. First milestone of the channel, and we have absolutely destroyed it in only 3 months, and we're still going strong, boys. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna be trying to press out at least 3 videos a week, if not more. I want to keep growing, keep expanding the fan base. You can find me on any other socials. Just slap in HIGHMMA and you'll see my logo there. I'd like to thank you all for watching today's video, and you know what I'm gonna say. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. Do what the fuck you want, man. But I hope you have a nice day, evening, night, whatever the fuck, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.